Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of In the Booth, where we interview online voice actors and actresses of machinimas, fan dubs, a Brit series, or any online web series or video games. I'm your host, JD Carr, and today our guest is Sean M.D. So, Sean, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this little interview.
Yeah, no problem. Good to be here.
Nice. All right, so why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been voice acting for about 5 years now, since 2015. And
Ooh, nice.
Mostly, I am, of course, an online voice actor who have been in different animations, indie games, a couple of audio dramas. Plus, also, I am also an artist / animator and part-time
Neat.
writer when it comes to producing demo reels, for other online voice actors when they're just starting off. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty much the gist of it.
Cool. Okay, so what got you into voice acting or acting in general?
I'd say it'd have to be right at the start of 2015 because back then, before I even considered that voiceovers was even an option, I originally wanted to be an animator / artist. That's when I started off with it. But when I produced my very first animation, I realized that I had absolutely no one to play the characters. So I went ahead and commissioned a couple. And both of them were Blake Swift, a.k.a. ShadyVox online.
Shady. Nice.
And also Kira Buckland. So I ended up commissioning both of them to play the characters for my animation. And after it was complete, I was like, wow, that's actually really cool. The thing never even crossed my mind that I could have been able to do this, or that they could be able to do it in such, so fast and with professional sounding equipment. And I was like, after the animation was complete, everything was done, at the very end of it, I was like, these two are actually really cool. I wonder if I could be able to get into it. And then it just hit me, why not? Other people online do it, like Team 4-Star, Ellen Montgomery, several other people do it online. I figured, why not? And so I went ahead and bought my very first microphone, which was a Blue Yeti. I ended up getting, my stands. I went all out when I first figured that I wanted to do this. So I went ahead, looked up a few tutorials on YouTube how to get started, made a very, very crappy demo reel, my very first demo reel that I mixed, voice, writ all myself. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere, so yeah, there's that.
Yeah. But I'd say that's what, got me started. Even though I had done, acting before, but they were mostly for church skits that my grandma had wrote for our church. But even then, it was more kind of had to be drafted in as opposed to willingly want to do it. But this was the first time that I legitimately wanted to do this. So, and 5 years later, here I am.
Nice. Okay, let's see. Another fun question for you. What was your first ever voice role? It could be anything, either be, I guess, a fan project or even an original project. You can have fun with that.
The very first project that I got cast for was a Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword comic dub. And I ended up playing the Demon Lord / a few extras. And I even ended up editing some of it on my end because the person was having trouble on their end. So it was kind of a collab thing. But that was basically my very first project that I had done.
Nice. Okay, so from then till now, after having 5 years of voice acting experience, what had been your favorite role or roles?
I'd say my favorite role would most likely be Kyo Yasada from Wolf Girl and Black Prince. Yeah, that's kind of a one of my most popular, yet one of my favorites is definitely Kyoya, because even though what's the word I'm looking for? Either way, he's a fun character to play. The very cold-hearted and sadistic type of, that type of, anytime I get to play like those type of cold / badass type of characters, it's a ton of fun to play.
Yeah.
My niche seems to be playing for either anime dubs or even just stuff in general, always seems to be the blonde-haired, red-eyed badasses. I have no idea why, but for some reason I can name off Kyo Yasada or Mahito from Blast of Tempest, or Sho Hakua from the Recreators fan dub, or even Bakugo in some instances for some fan projects.
Sweet. Oh, here's another fun question that you'll probably love. I'm pretty sure you probably watch a lot of cartoons, anime, play a lot of video games, right?
Yep, that's my life in a nutshell.
So, who are your favorite voice actors and/or actresses? Go, I'll let you have fun with that.
That depends how much time you got.
I mean, just have fun with this. Go ahead.
Okay, are you sure you're ready for this?
I'm fine with this.
Are you 100% positive that you are ready for this?
I am 100% positive for this. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here you go. Blake Swift, Kira Buckland, Ellen Montgomery, Nick Landis, Nolan North, Tara Strong, Gabriel Brown, Mike Irwin, Erica Mendes, Jesse McCartney, David Hayter, Quentin Flynn, Matthew Mercer, Martin Bellany, Jim Cummings, Bradley Baker, Mae Whitman, Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, Lawrence Simpson, Terry Payton, David Gallagher, Laura Bailey, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, James Arnold Taylor, Cassie Mangello, Johnny Young Bosch, Dimitri Martin, Eric Vale, Tom Kenny, Rob Paulson, Bryce Pappenbrook, Robbie Damon, Crispin Freeman, Brad Swelly, Jesse Nowak, Curtis Aaron, Amanda Lee, Aaron Anson, Jason Griffith, Monica Real, Veronica Taylor, Jane Red, Kaylee Mills, Gray Griffin, Phil Lamar, Jennifer Hale, Paul St. Peter, and Mel Blanc.
Goddamn. I think that's the most. No, I think that is the most anyone has said who their favorite voice actors and or actresses are on this little podcast.
Believe it or not, that's still not all of them.
That's believe you.
That's just the industry voice actors.
I believe you.
I'll stop it for there.
Yeah, I think that's a good enough stopping point for that question. Oh boy. You know what? Let's continue. So on a related note, who do you often like to collaborate with on online projects? There you go. Now you may continue on that.
Okay, that one is going to be shorter. I assure you. Favorite people to collab with is definitely Melina being one of them for the Vanilla Dubs stuff. Whether it be Wolf Girl and Black Prince, or Phantom Thief Jean, or any other type of projects that come into mind. But also Nico Abanilla, and let's see here. Also Sammy, who also does a ton of Fire Emblem Three Houses comic dubs.
Oh, I've seen some of her stuff, yeah.
And also Zelda Universe, who also does top-notch productions whenever they're doing any type of...
I'm actually auditioning for that new project of theirs, so oof.
Oh, Breath of the Wild, or...
Yeah, that one.
Cool.
The Breath of the Wild one, so yeah, cool. I just want to be like an extra in that. Just, just like, hey, there I am.
So yeah, I'd say those are like my top main 3 that I work with most frequently.
Nice. Okay. Oh, here's probably another fun question you may or may not like, or this will probably embarrass you. So I'm pretty sure you probably record a whole lot. So has there been any, I guess, bloopers or any funny stories that happened while recording in the booth? Or any funny mishaps?
Mishaps, I wouldn't say mishaps, but whenever I record for, like, say, like Sammy's Fire Emblem Three Houses comic dubs, or recording anything for Nico, or even Kyoya, there's definitely some moments of improv that somehow end up for the blooper reel, somehow not even like a separate reel, like at the very end of the video that they play like your bloopers. No, somehow they make it into the actual videos.
Really?
To the point where
Wow.
there's not even like the lines of text that's above them. They either end with some of the improv stuff that I end up doing, which is just random stuff that comes at the top of my head, and they somehow end up doing it. I was like, whoa, wait, I was just joking. And sometimes they even sometimes they even make the title off of different stuff.
Oh boy.
That I end up saying. It's like, dude, I was joking. Now I'm feeling subconscious because now I got to make sure that what I'm recording, because if I end up saying something stupid, or if I end up going off the rails, just making like random jokes and like, then I got to make sure that, it's okay with them, because I got to make sure that what I'm saying is appropriate for, let's say, what they're doing, and just to make sure that, everything is consistent.
Speaking of roles, has there been like a type of voice or voices that you haven't done yet, but you really want to do for any future projects?
I would say it would definitely be like the protagonist type of voice, because even though technically speaking Kyoya is like somewhat of a protagonist type character, but
he's not the type of protagonist you want to portray per se.
Yeah.
Or like,
well,
it's not that. It's not like, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not the type of protagonist type voice that you haven't done yet.
Yeah, I'm mostly like, say, like the cheery, upbeat, like, yeah, get your game on type of, like excited, cheerful, like, because even though that's stuff I would like to do, chances are, because my voice is slightly more deeper than usual, the only time that I could really get those type of roles is if they're, one, like a young adult, which is kind of hard considering that the majority of anime dubs are primarily teenagers / like, if you're lucky, young adult. But mostly those kind of roles would go to people who are naturally, have that as their natural voice. Me, on the other hand, I would have to, get a bit more up there in terms of, but as you can tell, it's not 100% authentic as like my natural voice.
All right. So speaking of stuff that you've been in, now voice. So congrats on actually making it all the way towards the finals. So like, how was this current now voice contest that you participated in?
It was definitely a challenge, because if I'm being honest, like the last time when I made it to the semifinals for Now Voice This 5, I was emotionally drained, because that's because not only was that the farthest I had been before, but it just, constantly doing things every week, trying to make new animatics, which is just like short-based animations that's not colored and not completely animated, but also mixing them, coming up with a script with less than a few days to do it, and constantly, the longer it goes, it feels like Now Voice This kind of feels like voiceover boot camp, or like being like in Hell's Kitchen. and you're just hoping that you're staying in and not getting voted off.
Right.
But I am really, really thankful that this time around that I was able to make it to the finals. So even though I did not win this round, I am more than grateful that I made it this far.
So in terms of doing auditions for like new roles, like what's your process? Because I know every voice actor and actress like has their own way of doing auditions. So like, what's your process of auditioning for a character for an upcoming project?
One thing that I would recommend doing that I occasionally do is do not look, if you're auditioning for, say, Casting Call Club, do not look at the audition number count or listen to everyone else's auditions. Or if it's for a Google Doc, if you're auditioning with something with a Google Doc, do not pay attention to the number count up top because that will discourage you. At least it discourages me when you see like, just for like one, auditioning for like one character and you see like 60 plus people auditioning for that and you're like, okay, there is no way I'm getting this role.
Yeah, it tends to be very demoralizing.
Yeah. And I'd say for auditioning for other roles, audition for it and then completely forget about the audition. Or completely forget, unless you are contacted, then, because if you're constantly, hoping and praying that you get this one role that you're really excited about, and you realize that it's going to be cast off to someone else, which chances are it most likely is, if several people are going to be auditioning for it, then chances are it's not going to go into your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of detaching yourself from said project, even if it's something you're really looking forward to, is what I would recommend, because if not, it will drive you insane. And then you can be able to go, yes, frick yes, after you've got cast.
It's like, oh my God, I did it!
Sometimes it can be even like, wait a minute, I got cast for something? And then you realize, oh yeah, I did audition for that. Because see, that's how the process works. You forget about what you auditioned for, but then when they come back and contact you, you're like, oh yes, frick yeah, I got cast.
Yeah, exactly.
It keeps yourself in a very pleasant mindset without having to, like, destroy your self-confidence when you're not cast for stuff, and allows you to move on without, constantly being in the setback and like, I'm not good enough, or I could have tried harder, or maybe what I did just wasn't, or maybe I'm just not good enough. But the thing is, if you keep that mentality, you will not get better.
Speaking of online projects, is there anyone or any group who you would like to collaborate with in the future? Or just the chance to work with?
Let me see. I would definitely one day like to collaborate with both Blake Swift and Kira Buckland one day with whatever projects that they would be in. Like, say, if it would be like for Shady Vox or Blake Swift, it would most likely be like in a mashed animation. Like, that's the name of the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where they do a lot of Sonic, Yu-Gi-Oh, or like old style PlayStation type of animations.
They do little parody animations of said games and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And basically anything with Kira, because she's freaking awesome. I've learned from her. I've been learning under her for well over a couple of years now. When it comes to with her workshops, or even different times when I have a really hard audition, I ask her for her help and her input, or even creating another demo reel. I ask her for input on that. So, yeah, both of them were the main reason why, since both of them are the reason I got into voice acting, those guys are the opinions that, creators that, I would really, really like to get more involved in.
Nice. Okay, I think we're kind of nearing the end here, so, Sean, I'm pretty sure you probably hear this question in so many job interviews, but, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
well, hopefully, keyword being hopefully, is once everything, the whole COVID situation gets, resolved, hopefully. I know it's going to be hard I know it's not going to be completely rid of it, but afterwards I intend to move to Texas, where I intend to pursue go more professional into my career and pursue Funimation, Sentai Filmworks, Sound Cadence Studios, and actually get my foot into the door for official, anime-based stuff, recording for, say, My Hero Academia or something for Dragon Ball Super, or just like any other type of like projects that may end up coming their way, and then maybe end up doing like more like officially, games and stuff. Maybe even end up taking a few trips to LA and end up recording for other stuff as well. And maybe even during that time period, lately I have been working on a story that I intend to one day make a webtoon. That I can't really get too much into because I'm a little too close to the project. I can't really reveal too much, but hopefully within that time period, I end up moving to Texas. I end up voicing for something, whether it be small or hopefully leading roles for Funimation or any other type of studio down there, or something in LA, and then eventually getting my story out there on Webtoon. So.
Nice. Well, Sean, you got any advice for anyone that wants to become a voice actor and or actress, or even maybe sound designer, or even animator?
3 words to anyone who is doing anything like that, or even just anything in general. 3 words. Okay, you guys listening? Listening? Okay, you listening? Okay. Ask for help. That will save your hide end. Because trust me, the first 3 years of doing voiceover work, I was completely at a standstill. I could not grow. I could not basically do anything. And you know why? I did everything by myself. I did not ask for help. I did not ask for input. I did not get anyone's opinion but my own. And I paid the price for it. But ever since then, back in 2018, when I actually got to meet other different groups, like, say, Nico, Melina, ended up getting more help from Kira Buckland, the very person who inspired me to actually pursue this. Ended up taking her workshops, ended up getting more feedback, and actually engaging with the online community, getting feedback from them, and giving feedback to other people as well, and end up growing in that community. Because trust me, I learned more from all of them in 3 months than I did on my own in 3 years. So trust me when I say asking for help will save your hide end.
Wise words, wise words. So, Sean, I would like to thank you for joining me in this episode of In the Booth.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And this concludes this episode of In the Booth. So until next time, bye guys.
Take care.